Women up, women up, women up, women up. I'm Mr. W to the O to the MAN. The woman up show for empower women. A safe space to learn and to dream big.
Today we're going to start the discussion off with an incredible young lady. I'm going to have her introduce herself in a bit, but we're going to be focusing on holistic healing. And for people who don't know what that is, that's totally fine because she gonna sort it out and she gonna make you get it. You understand me? So of course, welcome into the virtual stage is Abigail Parague. Abigail, how are you?
I'm good, Isheba. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for bringing me on to the show.
Definitely. So before we get started, of course, we're going to be having a conversation about this topic. But before we get started, how are you really? Like, genuinely.
Such a loaded question. Anytime somebody asks me how like, I don't know. But let me just say the word that comes to my mind is grateful. I'm feeling great right now, and I'm feeling blessed because I get the opportunity to share my story, and I'm well. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
All right. That's really, really good to hear. And for me, I'm I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I'm going through what I'm going through, but I can't complain. Again, I have food, may have shelter, may have clothes, so I can't complain. But still, I don't want us as young women to say, all right, we're better off than somebody else, so we should be okay. If we're not okay, even mentally, then that's something that we should embrace and talk about. We shouldn't always just put it to the side and say, "Oh, me all right, whatever." You understand? So I'm glad that we're having this discussion today. So first of all, we're talking about holistic healing, and I know a lot of people might not know exactly what that is. So tell me a little bit about who you are and what holistic healing rather means to you.
Thank you for that question. All right. So as you can see on the screen, I'm a holistic therapist and I am also an advocate for wellness, especially for young adults who struggle with chronic illness uh, as well as their career. So I'm not just a holistic therapist, but I'm also a career coach, but I'm more into the, the wellness side of the mental side of and it's not just mental health, it's holistic wellness and holistic. So holistic healing basically is an integrative approach to your health. It's about realizing the interconnectedness between mind, body, and spirit. So instead of just looking at your health as just a physical health, we're taking into account your mental health, spiritual health, as well as your social and all other aspects of your life. Because if one part of your health suffers, the rest. So holistic healing is about looking at yourself as a whole human and nourishing each part.
So let me ask you something. How exactly did you get into that, and when did you even realize that that was something that you're passionate about and you want to genuinely help people to with that?
Well, I wasn't always in this path. I was actually studying dental surgery for 5 years. And in my last year of dental school, I got diagnosed with three chronic illnesses back to
Mm.
so first I got issues, then mental health, and then neurological. So everything happened in the span of years, and I really didn't know what was going on because I was a really great student. I was super focused, and I found that my health could not keep up with the demands and the stress of school. And so I decided that I take a break from the hustle culture and just really focus on recovering because all of the illnesses that was being told that I had did not exactly have a cure. So I said, what can I do then? If I don't have a cure, I don't want to live on medication for the rest of my life. What can I do? to help myself. So that's kind of how I stumbled across holistic healing.
You know, I think about it all the time that a lot of us as young girls, I feel like we have some of these chronic illnesses and we probably don't even know. Like we're just sitting down and going about life like everything is normal. So I feel like this is also a good point for us to say, get checked up. Like check up on yourself.
Or,
Go to the doctor
yeah.
and find out if everything is okay with your body, everything is okay with your mind. Because some of the time I feel like we go through stress
Mm-hmm.
and we think we're alright, our mind I tell we some one bag of something and we think we're alright, but when you go to the doctor, you might go to a therapist and you realize that you are actually mentally not okay. You understand? And you're just walking around thinking that you're fine. So I think it's really important as young people that we go out and really, you know, getting that checked out. So earlier you even spoke about the different I want to say principles or aspects of holistic healing in terms of the body, mind, and the fact that it incorporates so many things. Can you just dive in a little more into that?
Mm-hmm.
What is it about the body? What is it about the mind? What can we do right now to kind of help with that or help with struggle?
Okay. So, as I said before, it's about the connection between the different aspects of yourself. And really, holistic healing is about finding the root cause of the disease. Why are you ill in the first place? And so, a lot of the times, the cause of disease, stress and inflammation. And so, the goal is to reduce those issues within the mind, within the body, and help to bring balance back to the body because stress itself is a hormone, cortisol. And so what happens is that the day-to-day life of school and traveling and work, it raises those levels. So the goal of holistic healing is to be able to balance back those levels within your body, your hormones, making sure that you are well in these different aspects. And so the first reason, the first part of it all is getting to know yourself. And then there are principles that you have to follow so that you can create a new healthy lifestyle routine. That is really the basis of it all.
Thanks for that, Abigail. I want to stick a pin right there, so and think about what you said a while ago in terms of getting to know yourself. Does that mean like genuinely like sitting down, reflecting, trying to understand who you are as an individual? So that is what you mean.
Exactly. So
It's
assessing oneself, being self.
ooh. It's so interesting that you said that because even recently, oh my god, no sir. Tell you what timing, recently I was talking to some friends and we were saying that who we were in university because we just would have left and it's been a year now. I don't feel like we're the same person. And it's
Mm,
like the interests that we have, they have changed. The passions that we have no longer are passions right now. And it's like we're freaking out. We have no idea what is going on. I have
that,
one friend who wants to do their masters and she didn't know what she wanted a master's in, although she did her bachelor's in something that she thought she liked. But
mm,
no, it's not the same thing, and it's literally freaking us out because we don't know what to do.
girl, girl, talking about my life because we don't talk about these listen, and then they wonder if something wrong with you. So yeah, you have to
Yeah,
health because you have to realize that you as a human being you're always evolving, you're always changing. The thing is how society has conditioned us to believe that we need to be on one path. So we choose that path in high school, we need to stay on it, we need to invest in
hmm
it, and you're not allowed to change your mind. And that can cause a lot of stress and mental burden because you feel like, boy, I'm trying to fit myself into this mold. Everybody says I'm good at it, you feel like you're just being ripped apart. So yeah, it's a very serious thing. That's why you have to sit with yourself and check with yourself regularly, so that you are not constantly trying to meet a high standard and cause stress to yourself unnecessarily.
no man, me appreciate that, and it's something that I think we need to really sit down and think about and do it, because right now for me personally, I'm in that process now of being reflective. So it's sitting down and really figuring out, all right, it's getting to know Aishiba again.
Yes.
um it's gonna be a process. So sometimes I might take up, my little book. I know I like read and everything there. But take up my little book and my little journal, and I might go to emancipation and just sit down amongst, people and nature, and just say, all right, we're ready. Who are you? I'm gonna ask myself certain questions. Guys, you can go up on Pinterest, by the way,
Love it.
Pinterest sometimes I love Pinterest. Perfection. So like I would go on Pinterest and look at maybe some prompts when you type in, reflective prompts, and I just start writing and I start to understand. And another part of it is that sometimes there are triggers in the environment that you don't even realize is affecting you mentally and affecting what you think of yourself. You understand? And a lot of people wonder why they can't accomplish their goals. And it's because you have something up here, so you need to start out. You have something within you, so you need to start out before you can go and, hustler mode on. You understand? Yes, I'm really, and I feel like as young girls, especially now, everybody I talk about this whole, want to be successful, because no matter which age you be now, like can go up on TikTok, the two little video, you turn influencer, you turn whoever, whatever, but we can't have that pressure get to it. You understand me? Cannot have that pressure get to it. But I want to jump on over into the role that nutrition now. And all the people that are listening are gonna like me for that one year. Because what does role does nutrition play in holistic healing and overall with mental health? So what we're putting and feeding into the body.
Yeah, it has a massive role, and that's actually the aspect that I started with when I decided to start my holistic journey. Because as I said, I started with gut health issues. I struggle with acid reflux, not as much though, because I changed my diet to suit my dietary needs. So I had to stay away from soda, I had to stay away from caffeine, not too much chocolates, all of that stuff. Learning to eat more fruits and veggies, limit dairy. So I was kind of forced into that position. My body was literally rejecting it. So naturally, I started to eat more healthy foods, and I started adopting a more Mediterranean diet. So the Italians, they're known to live long. Like they're some of the longest living people in the world. And what we realize is that they eat a diet that is full of healthy fats, healthy staples, lots of veggies, lots of fruits. So nutrition is basically the basis of your gut health, and your gut health impacts your mental health. So if you're feeding your gut well, because you have something called gut microbiome, and these are millions and trillions of bacteria that help you to have a healthy gut. And so if you feed the food that is healthy for it, like prebiotics, probiotics to the bacteria, then your gut health will improve, because the gut is seen as a second brain, and so that helps to produce healthy hormones like serotonin, which impacts your mood. So if your gut health is bad, you're more likely to experience anxiety and depression. But if you start to improve your diet, you will start to see a change in your mental health. So yeah, nutrition is a huge aspect of holistic healing.
Tell me, when you started that journey in terms of changing your diet completely, me know right now, because I'm doing it right now and it is not easy. So how exactly did you stay on board? I know it's interesting that I ask this, because I know some people are gonna say, but if so you're not dead, it must give you that motivation, but sometimes it really doesn't, because if you're used to a certain lifestyle over all these years, getting up and just eating fruits every day, it's not going to be easy. So girl, I laugh, but it's not lie. You
But
understand?
I did it basically starting small. So I used to be a mind from a barn from I was in the womb. So when I had to cut down on the drinking of the chocolate and stuff, I had to replace it with something that is equally tasty, which in my opinion was herbal tea. Herbal tea was actually one of the primary things that changed my gut health. Something as small as tea started to heal my gut. Right? Drinking more water. So sometimes you have to start with the small. I'm not saying you have to just drastically diet. to start with something small. It's not to say that you can't treat yourself, because I've got to the point where I can moderately have these things now, like soda, but it's not that I live on them anymore. So it's all about moderation and balance. So yeah, my advice to someone who is struggling to change their diet is to just start with something small. Start with implementing a new type of drink or food into your diet, and then slowly, consistently have those things. And then you can move on to researching other foods and create new recipes for yourself.
All right, I love that. For me, I started maybe about 3 weeks ago. It has been so hard. 3 weeks ago, I was so fed up, and I was like, you know what, I truly need to change my diet. And I don't know if a lot of our listeners or people who are watching know, but you need to understand and know what your BMI is as well, because if you're a certain age, at a certain height, and you have a certain weight, you're gonna know when you need to kind of dial it down. And I did that for myself, and I realized that I'm way over the weight that I'm supposed to be right now. And I said something definitely needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
So my boyfriend is actually a personal trainer, and he has that nutrition, I would say, knowledge. So he gave me a document with the things that I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating, and the portions, because the portions very important. Even
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about fruits, he's telling me that I'm not even supposed to eat more than one fruit a day. Like, that's what he's telling me. That's enough sweet, because a lot of the fruits that we eat, it is actually sweet. So that's enough sugar
Sugar
for
for the
today, right? So it's one fruit a day. Whenever I'm drinking tea, people may drink ginger tea in the mornings. No sugar in the ginger tea.
yeah.
No, no sugar. You understand me? So having to do that, and I have to be eating ground food. Some guys may not eat no rice, no flour. It's pure everything that's not processed and literally comes from the ground. That's what I have to be eating right now.
That's great.
Um, it is great, but it's very hard.
All
And
right.
yes, I've cheated. I'm not even going to lie. I've cheated many times, and that's okay. It's a part of the process. Yeah, man. So it's going to be hard, and for some of the young girls or young people who are listening, I think one good thing is to probably get some accountability partners to
Mm.
ensure that you genuinely are doing what you say you want to do. So I have my friends who, whenever we go out, they're like, you're not supposed to eat that, right? And I'm like, I see
Yeah.
you. So that's good. So ensure that you get your accountability people. One of the things I want to jump over to now, Abigail, is we talk about holistic practices and we understand what exactly those entail. But what about traditional means of, for example, therapy? When you think about your mental health and wellness, what are your thoughts on that? Is that something good that young people should be doing nowadays?
So I am a big believer in both traditional medicine and holistic medicine. I don't think they cancel out the two. I believe they work together. And I have been to traditional doctors and therapists for my mental health. Listen, psychiatrists, if you need to go to a psychiatrist, if you need medicine, if you need antidepressants, go. There's no shame in getting yourself evaluated by a professional, especially when you're having a crisis. So yes, traditional therapy, traditional psychotherapy is, I think, one of the number one resources first. Talk to somebody, talk to a mental health professional, and then you can couple that with new holistic therapies, lifestyle. They're supposed to complement each other. So yeah, that's my opinion.
When I think about when you were starting your like a therapy journey as it relates to the traditional means of going to a therapist, did you feel scared at first, or
Yeah, I was afraid to be vulnerable, because it takes vulnerability and a deep sense of awareness that you need help. And to get to that point, especially as a young person, where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm young, that doesn't mean that I'm invincible. In fact, it means that I need to lay the proper foundation for my health for life. it can feel a little overwhelming, you feel a little ashamed, but you shouldn't. And so, but naturally, once you find a psychiatrist, a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist that you really feel comfortable with, over time, those feelings of shame and worthlessness will eventually disappear because you have that support system. And you learn that it's okay because everybody has mental health issues at some point in their life. So over time, with the right support, you will start to feel more confident with your designated profession.
I'm happy that you said that. Because again, I was having this conversation with the girls, and we were talking about how afraid we are, yes, to be vulnerable, but also when we talk about ethics in these things and finding the right practitioner, we're afraid because one thing we realize with a lot of Jamaicans, and it's not just Jamaicans, but people nowadays, them too chatty,
Yeah.
and everything they post on social media. I remember seeing this girl in America posting how her nurse posted her chart in her close friends. And I'm like, and it got back to her, so that's how she knew. It got back to her, and I'm like, that's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Is unethical to the highest degree. Ethics is
Yeah,
a thing. Yeah, you have to find someone you trust. Um,
honestly.
it's not easy though. I feel like the more reputable. So that's why I said start with a traditional therapist first. Doctors they
Mm-hmm.
have so going to our doctor that has years of experience. You know, do your research. The best psychiatrists, best psychologists, counselors. These people tend to have years of experience and have seen a lot of clients. Their reputation is very important. It is not, don't find some wash up person that just want to, take advantage of you. You have to do your research and find the right practitioner that meets your specific.
Mm-hmm. And I would always say too is like talk to your friends, like talk to other young girls, find out, who are maybe the best persons to go to for certain things. I remember talking to a friend, she's actually in Japan right now, and she was telling me about a therapist that she knows in Jamaica, and she's like, yeah, man, she's really good. You can go to her, you don't have to worry about your business. I got a road and then something there, and I love that. So, oh my god, it's a lot, but it's important. It's really important. You guys see me like sitting here because I'm genuinely reflecting while I'm talking and just thinking about everything. But before we jump off, do you have any advice that you might want to give to a young girl that's probably going like bonkers, going crazy right now, not sure which way to go in terms of goals, and then not really taking their health, their mental well being, and overall health seriously? What can you say to them to let them know that they need to get started right now?
Yes, I have so much I want to say, but I'm gonna just put it in something a nice summary. Because girl, I got my notes, girl. But what I would say to a young girl who doesn't know where to start, I would say going back to the first conversation, knowing yourself. So that is going to take time. It's going to take silence. So yeah, not being a part of the crowd all of the time, learning if there's any undiscovered trauma, because trauma is one of the other things that makes not the stress, but the suppressed trauma from childhood, things that have happened. So start with healing your trauma, and you talk to someone like a trusted friend or a trusted family member, and then if you can find the funds, find someone that you can talk to once a month or once every 2 months, a mental health professional, and then you deal with the root traumas because you have to bring up those emotions, right? So you heal your trauma, then I want you to create a lifestyle routine that is manageable. So not everybody has the money to get the most organic foods or anything like that. But see if you can, as I said, start with something small. If you go to the supermarket or someone go to the supermarket, tell them to get a herbal tea for you as a start. Carry a bottle of water with you everywhere you go. Keep yourself hydrated. Um, Yeah, I definitely feel like once you heal the trauma, you learn to manage your stress, learn to take breaks, and then the last bit of it all is to let nature be your friend. So rely on nature, go walk in nature, go to a park, eat natural foods. Nature is your best friend. So start small and over time do your research. You'll figure out the different many holistic techniques out there that you can start implementing into your daily routine. And you can always book a session with a holistic therapist like myself or anybody else in the wellness space. And just understand that it takes time, it's a journey, and you won't see the changes immediately. But within a year or less, you'll start to see that your health is improving with these changes in your lifestyle habits. So, yeah, that would be
I really appreciate that, and those are some really, really great tips as well. I would love for us, guys, I don't know if it's going to be possible, but if we can do a little something, if it's even like a little online community, or we meet up on some days, maybe at the park, whether
Mhm.
it be Hope Gardens or Emancipation, and actually get started on this process, and kind of be accountability partners for each other, then that is something that we can definitely look into. I know a lot of you are going to say, oh my God, let us do this. But yeah, I think that's something I'm going to look into it. So don't worry and see what we can do, because we genuinely need each other, when we think about starting the process to doing stuff like this. And then there are persons who are far along in the journey
Mhm.
already that would be able to guide us, just like Abigail. Right now I'm gonna go to her after this, I'm gonna ask what's up, but I want to thank you so much for genuinely coming and talking and sharing all of your knowledge. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Like, I already have a platform, but this just has reignited my love for what I do. So I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your audience and for us to have such an insightful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in today. You're listening to the Woman Up podcast. I'm your host, Isheba Cornwall. I don't know. Me, I sign out. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye. Bye.
Woman up, woman up, the woman up show for you. Woman up, woman up, woman up, the woman up show for you. Woman up, woman up, has you full of strength. Woman up, more confident. Woman, woman be independent. You're right. Woman up, woman up.